Wife cheated with dog trainer, used our new puppy as cover. 6 months post-divorce. I'm relocating for a promotion and dating the trainer's ex-wife. I am 35, never thought I'd be writing a post like this, but here I am. My world has been turned upside down, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. To understand how I got here, I need to go back to the beginning. I met Joyce, F33 now, 10 years ago at a local dog park. I was there with my German Shepherd, Max, who I'd had since he was a puppy. Max was my best friend, my constant companion through college and my early career struggles. That day at the park, Max decided to introduce himself to a pretty woman sitting on a bench. As I apologized for my overly friendly dog, I couldn't help but notice her beautiful smile and the way her eyes lit up as she pet Max. Joyce and I hit it off immediately, bonding over our love for animals. She told me about her cat, Luna, and how she volunteered at the local animal shelter. We exchanged numbers and started dating soon after. Our relationship felt like a fairy tale. We had so much in common and genuinely enjoyed each other's company. When Joyce moved in with me a year later, it was like puzzle pieces falling into place. Max and Luna got along surprisingly well, and our little family felt complete. We got married after 2 years of dating. The ceremony was small, just close friends and family, held in a beautiful garden. Max was our ring bearer, wearing a little bow tie that matched my suit. Joyce looked stunning in her simple white dress, and I remember thinking I was the luckiest man alive. For the first few years of our marriage, life was perfect. We both had stable jobs. I worked as an architect, and Joyce was a graphic designer who often worked from home. We spent our weekends hiking with Max, visiting animal shelters, and dreaming about the future. We talked about having kids someday, but for now, we were content with our furry family. About 3 years into our marriage, Joyce started bringing up the idea of getting another dog. At first, I was hesitant. Max was getting older, and I worried that a new dog might stress him out. But Joyce was persistent. She argued that Max might benefit from having a younger companion to keep him active. She showed me articles about the benefits of multi-dog households and even created a PowerPoint presentation to make her case. After months of discussion, I finally agreed to consider it. We started visiting local shelters, but Joyce always found a reason why none of the dogs were quite right. Too big, too small, too energetic, not energetic enough. I started to wonder if she was having second thoughts about the whole idea. Then one day, Joyce came to me excited about Labradoodles. She'd been researching dog breeds and thought a Labradoodle would be perfect for us. Hypoallergenic, good with other pets, and known for their friendly temperament. I was a bit taken aback by the sudden shift from adopting to buying from a breeder, especially given Joyce's history of volunteering at shelters. But she was so enthusiastic, showing me pictures and telling me all about the breed's qualities. I expressed concern about the cost. Purebred dogs aren't cheap, but Joyce assured me she'd been saving up for this. She'd even found a local breeder named Matt, who specialized in Labradoodles. Against my better judgment, I agreed to go meet him and see the puppies. The day we went to Matt's place is etched in my memory. It was a small farm about an hour outside the city. Matt greeted us warmly, and I immediately noticed how Joyce's face lit up when she saw him. He was younger than I expected, probably in his late 20s, and had this easygoing charm about him. As Matt showed us around and introduced us to the puppies, I couldn't help but notice how Joyce hung on his every word. She laughed at all his jokes, even the ones that weren't particularly funny, and stood close to him as he explained the puppy's lineage. Something about their interaction made me uneasy, but I tried to brush it off as my imagination. We ended up choosing a puppy we named Cooper. He was adorable, with soft golden fur and big brown eyes. Joyce was over the moon, cooing over Cooper and taking dozens of pictures. As we were leaving, Matt gave Joyce his personal number, saying to call any time if we had questions about training or care. The next few months were a whirlwind of puppy care. Cooper was energetic and mischievous, constantly getting into things he shouldn't. Joyce threw herself into training him, watching videos online and texting Matt frequently for advice. At first, I was glad to see her so engaged, but as time went on, I started to feel left out. Joyce began scheduling private training sessions with Matt at our house. These sessions would often last for hours, and Joyce would be in a great mood afterward, talking about all the progress Cooper was making. I tried to be supportive, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. One day, about 6 months after we got Cooper, I came home early from work. As I pulled into our driveway, I saw Matt's truck parked on the street. I thought nothing of it at first. Joyce had mentioned she'd scheduled a training session for that afternoon. But as I entered the house, I heard noises coming from our bedroom. My heart racing, I quietly made my way upstairs and pushed open the bedroom door. What I saw shattered my world. Joyce and Matt were in our bed together, clearly in the middle of an intimate moment. They didn't even notice me at first, and I stood there in shock for what felt like an eternity. When Joyce finally saw me, her face went pale. She immediately started crying, scrambling to cover herself and saying it wasn't what it looked like. Matt quickly gathered his clothes and left without a word, leaving me alone with my distraught wife. Through her tears, Joyce begged me to forgive her. She said it had only happened a few times, that she had made a huge mistake and still loved me. But as I stood there, looking at the rumpled sheets of our marital bed, all I felt was a cold, numbing anger. I told Joyce to get out. I couldn't bear to look at her or listen to her excuses. She tried to argue, saying we needed to talk about this, but I was in no state for a conversation. I told her I wanted a divorce and that she should stay with her sister until she found a new place. The next few days were a blur. Joyce kept calling and texting, alternating between apologies and accusations. She claimed I had been distant, that I didn't pay enough attention to her. I ignored her messages and contacted a lawyer to start divorce proceedings. It was during this time that I learned the full extent of Joyce's betrayal. A mutual friend reluctantly told me that Joyce and Matt's affair had been going on for months, practically since we got Cooper. All those training sessions had been a cover for their rendezvous. I felt like such a fool for not seeing it sooner. Now, 2 weeks later, I'm still trying to process everything. Max, Cooper, and Luna are staying with me in the house. Joyce is living with her sister and still trying to contact me, saying we need to work things out. But how can I ever trust her again? I'm heartbroken, angry, and lost. The future I thought I had has been ripped away, and I'm left trying to pick up the pieces. The only silver lining is the unconditional love of my pets. They've been a source of comfort during this nightmare, especially Max, who seems to sense my distress and hasn't left my side. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I can't stay in this marriage. The trust is broken, and I don't think it can be repaired. Any advice on how to move forward would be appreciated. How do I start rebuilding my life after such a betrayal? Update 1. It's been about a month since my last post, and I wanted to give an update on my situation. First, I want to thank everyone for their supportive comments and messages. They've been a lifeline during this difficult time, reminding me that I'm not alone in this struggle. The divorce proceedings are moving forward, though not without some drama. Joyce initially tried to contest it, claiming she deserved half of everything, including the pets. This came as a shock to me, considering she was the one who cheated. My lawyer, thankfully, was prepared for this. He pointed out that Max was mine before the marriage and that Cooper was technically registered in my name. After some back and forth, Joyce's lawyer advised her to settle, realizing they didn't have much of a case. Now we're just working out the financial details, which is its own kind of stress. In an unexpected turn of events, Matt's wife found out about the affair and reached out to me. Her name is Karen, and she's 31. We met for coffee last week, and it was an emotional conversation. Karen had no idea about Matt's infidelity and was blindsided when she found evidence on his phone. It turns out Joyce wasn't his only client he was sleeping with. Karen was understandably devastated and furious. She's filing for divorce too and plans to expose Matt's unethical behavior to the local dog training community. Talking to Karen was oddly comforting. There's a unique kind of solidarity in shared pain. We swapped stories about the red flags we missed and the lies we were told. Karen mentioned that Matt had been distant for months, often coming home late from emergency training sessions. It made me realize how calculated and extensive the deception had been on both Joyce and Matt's parts. On the home front, things have been challenging. Joyce has been trying to paint herself as the victim to our friends and family. She's telling everyone that I was neglectful and emotionally unavailable, and that's why she turned to Matt. It's infuriating to hear these lies, especially knowing how hard I tried to be a good husband. I've been tempted to retaliate and tell everyone the full story, but I'm trying to take the high road and not engage in the drama. Thankfully, most of our mutual friends have seen through her lies and are supporting me. The pets have been my saving grace through all of this. Max, despite his advancing age, has been incredibly attentive. He follows me from room to room, always ready with a comforting paw or a furry hug when I need it. Cooper, ironically, has become a source of joy rather than a painful reminder. His puppy energy and unconditional affection have been a welcome distraction from the stress of the divorce. However, Max's health has been declining, which has been hard to deal with on top of everything else. The vet says he probably only has a few months left due to hip dysplasia and other age-related issues. It breaks my heart to think about losing him, especially now when I need him most. I'm doing everything I can to make him comfortable and cherish every moment we have left. Luna, Joyce's cat, has surprisingly become more affectionate towards me. It's as if she senses the change in the household dynamics. She often curls up next to me while I work from home, her purring a soothing background noise as I tackle endless emails and divorce paperwork. Work has been a challenge. My boss has been understanding, giving me some flexibility with my hours as I deal with lawyer appointments and court dates. But it's hard to focus on architectural designs when your personal life is in shambles. I'm doing my best to keep up, but some days are harder than others. I'm not ready to even think about dating again, but I have been making an effort to reconnect with old friends and stay social. It's been nice to remember that there are still good people out there. People who won't betray your trust at the drop of a hat. I've been going to trivia nights at a local bar with some college buddies, and it's been a good distraction. As for Joyce, I've limited our communication to divorce-related matters only, handled primarily through our lawyers. She's made a few attempts to meet in person to talk things through, but I'm not ready for that. The wound is still too raw, and I don't trust myself to maintain boundaries if we're face-to-face. Looking ahead, I'm trying to focus on rebuilding my life one day at a time. I'm considering selling the house once the divorce is finalized. Too many memories here, both good and bad. The idea of a fresh start in a new place is appealing, though the thought of moving is overwhelming right now. For now, I'm taking things one day at a time, focusing on my work, my pets, and my own healing. It's a slow process, with good days and bad, but I'm trying to stay hopeful about the future. If nothing else, this experience has taught me a lot about resilience and the importance of self-care. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I'll get through this. Thank you all again for your support and advice. It means more than you know. Update 2. Another month has passed, and I wanted to give you all an update on my situation. Things have settled into a new kind of normal, though it's still a far cry from the life I had before. The biggest news is that the divorce was finalized last week. It was a surreal experience, sitting in the courtroom and listening to the judge declare our marriage officially over. There was a moment when I caught Joyce's eye across the room and I saw a flicker of something. Regret? Sadness? It was hard to tell. But as quickly as it appeared, it was gone, replaced by the cold, defensive look she's worn throughout this process. The division of assets went mostly as expected. I kept the house and my car, while Joyce got a sizable portion of our savings. It feels strange to reduce 10 years of marriage to a list of items and dollar amounts, but I suppose that's what divorce does. On a sadder note, Max passed away 2 weeks ago. It was peaceful. He went to sleep one night and simply didn't wake up the next morning. In a way, I'm grateful it happened like that. He didn't suffer, and I got to spend his last months giving him all the love and attention he deserved. The house feels emptier without him, his absence a constant reminder of how much has changed. Cooper seemed to sense something was wrong even before Max passed. He's been extra clingy lately, often lying at my feet while I work or curling up next to me on the couch. His presence has been a comfort, a reminder that I'm not entirely alone. Luna, too, has been more affectionate than usual. It's as if the pets are banding together to help me through this difficult time. Karen and I have continued to meet up occasionally. What started as commiseration over our shared experiences has evolved into a genuine friendship. We meet for coffee every couple of weeks, sharing updates on our divorces and offering each other support. It's been helpful to have someone who understands exactly what I'm going through. During one of our recent meetups, Karen told me that Matt's dog training business has taken a significant hit since word got out about his affairs. Apparently, he's lost several clients and is struggling to attract new ones. There are even rumors that he's thinking of moving out of state to start over. Part of me feels a sense of justice at this news, but mostly, I just feel tired of the whole situation. Last week, I ran into Joyce at the grocery store. It was the first time we'd seen each other outside of lawyers' offices and courtrooms since the split. The encounter was awkward, to say the least. She tried to make small talk, asking about the pets and how I was doing. I kept my responses brief and polite before excusing myself. Later that day, she texted me saying she misses our little family and wishes things could go back to how they were. I didn't respond. Those bridges are burned, and no amount of wishful thinking can rebuild them. In an effort to fill the void left by the divorce and to honor Max's memory, I've started volunteering at a local animal shelter on weekends. It's been therapeutic to focus on helping other animals in need. The shelter staff have been incredibly welcoming, and I'm finding a sense of purpose in walking dogs and socializing cats. Cooper loves it when I bring home new toys and treats from the shelter store. Work has been picking up, which has been a welcome distraction. I've thrown myself into a new project, redesigning a community center. The long hours and creative challenges have been a good way to keep my mind occupied. My boss has noticed my renewed focus and has hinted at a possible promotion in the near future. I've also been making an effort to reconnect with old hobbies. I've dusted off my guitar, which had been sitting untouched in a corner for years. The muscle memory is slowly coming back, and I find myself strumming away in the evenings, with Cooper and Luna as my audience. There's something soothing about losing myself in music, even if I'm still pretty rusty. As for my emotional state, it's a work in progress. There are still days when the anger and hurt feel overwhelming, when I find myself replaying the moment I discovered Joyce's betrayal. But those days are becoming less frequent. I'm learning to focus on the present and the future, rather than dwelling on the past. I'm not ready to think about dating yet, but I am trying to expand my social circle. I've joined a local hiking group, which has been a great way to meet new people and explore the outdoors. It feels good to be active and social, to remember that there's a whole world out there beyond my divorce drama. Overall, I'm doing better. There are still tough days, but I'm starting to feel hopeful about the future again. I'm grateful for the support of my friends, family, and of course, my furry companions. Life may not have turned out the way I expected, but I'm beginning to see that doesn't mean it can't still be good. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my original post, and I felt it was time for one final update. Life has taken some unexpected turns, but I'm in a much better place now than I could have imagined when this all started. The biggest change is that I've decided to foster a senior dog named Buddy from the shelter where I volunteer. He's a sweet old golden retriever who was surrendered when his owner moved into a nursing home. At first, I was just fostering him temporarily, but Buddy and Cooper hit it off so well that I decided to make it permanent. There's something incredibly rewarding about giving a loving home to a dog in his golden years. Buddy's calm presence has been a soothing counterpoint to Cooper's youthful energy, and even Luna seems to approve of our newest family member. My friendship with Karen has evolved in an unexpected way. What started as a connection born from shared trauma has developed into something more. We've been dating for about 2 months now, taking things slow and being mindful of our recent experiences. Karen understands my trust issues better than anyone, and she's been incredibly patient as we navigate this new relationship. It's strange to find happiness from such a painful situation, but I'm cautiously optimistic about where this might lead. I heard through mutual friends that Joyce and Matt moved in together shortly after our divorce was finalized. However, it seems their relationship is already on rocky ground. Apparently, Joyce caught Matt texting other women and they had a big fight about it. I don't wish them ill, but I can't say I'm surprised either. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild, a lesson I learned the hard way. On the professional front, I've been offered a promotion at work. It's an exciting opportunity, but it would require relocating to another state. After much consideration, I've decided to take it. The idea of a fresh start in a new place feels right, a chance to truly close this chapter of my life and begin anew. Karen has been supportive of the decision, and we're discussing the possibility of her moving too once she finishes her degree next year. As I pack up the house and prepare for this new chapter, I find myself reflecting on how much has changed in just 6 months. The pain of Joyce's betrayal has dulled, replaced by a sense of gratitude for the lessons I've learned and the strength I've found within myself. I never could have imagined my life taking this turn, but I'm excited about the future in a way I haven't been in a long time. Cooper, Buddy, and Luna seem to sense the excitement too. Cooper races around the half-packed boxes, tail wagging furiously. Buddy watches from his comfortable bed, offering an occasional encouraging woof. Even Luna, typically aloof, has taken to curiously inspecting the moving boxes. I've decided to sell the house. Too many memories here, both good and bad. It feels liberating to let it go, to know that soon a new family will make their own memories within these walls. I hope they'll be happy ones. As for Joyce, I haven't heard from her directly in months. Our last interaction was finalizing some paperwork related to the sale of the house. It was a brief, business-like exchange, a far cry from the emotional roller coaster of our early separation. I realized then that I truly have moved on. The anger and hurt that once consumed me have faded, replaced by a quiet acceptance and hope for the future. Looking back on this journey, I'm amazed at how far I've come. From the devastation of discovering Joyce's affair, to the joy of fostering Buddy and the excitement of a new job and potential relationship, it's been a whirlwind of emotions and changes. I'm not the same person I was 6 months ago. I'm stronger, more self-aware, and surprisingly, more open to life's possibilities. To anyone out there going through something similar, know that it does get better. It's not easy, and there will be days when it feels impossible, but you're stronger than you know. Lean on your support system. Focus on self-care, and don't be afraid to seek help when you need it. As I close this chapter of my life, I want to thank everyone who's been there for me throughout this journey. Your support and advice have been invaluable. While I may not post updates anymore, know that I'm moving forward with optimism and gratitude. Here's to new beginnings, unexpected joys, and the resilience of the human spirit. And of course, to the unconditional love of our furry companions who stand by us through it all.